right. So as far as the bowl preparation, we after BYU we kind of just lifted for that week, and then once we found out where we were going and kind of were able to get some film in on Akron, we've started to pick up practice towards the end of last week and now. So Akron's offense looks good. They have a dynamic quarterback. They have quite a few threats on the outside at receiver, and a lot of big guys up front. Their tight end is 290 pounds, and they have just a lot of thick kids, so it's going to be a challenge.
Did you know anything about Akron prior to
No, I did not. No.
So they say their offense is a spread offense.
Mm.
Their quarterback's their second leading runner. Is it kind of more of that still quarterback zone read, a lot of that stuff as you're seeing in film, or what?
Yeah, I wouldn't say as much zone read. They do a lot of QB power, just to get the extra number. But I think a lot of it also probably comes from scrambles. He's really good at, when he feels pressure, he's not necessarily looking to throw the ball away. He's trying to get yardage and to make a play.
So, and he looks like he's a decent passer too, besides the quarterback.
Yeah.
On the film.
Yeah, he is. He's got some good receivers that'll go up and make plays at the same time. So.
Yeah, because they got some size with a couple of their guys and stuff.
Yep.
As well. What do you characterize what's the reaction to playing in all these bowl games over all the years? I mean, before you, none of us had ever had this kind of reality in Logan before. What has this been like? Do you ever say, oh boy, we're just in another bowl game? Obviously that's not the way it's supposed to be, but does that ever come up or anything?
No, I don't think so. I think guys are really excited, and for guys of us that have been here for a long time and been to all these bowl games, it definitely doesn't get repetitive, and it's fun. It's a great experience to go to a bowl game. All the ones that we've gone to have been a great experience, and especially to see guys that are kind of new, not used to it, coming in. It's really exciting, and it kind of brings juice to practice and to preparing for it.
Because you had to watch last year's on the sideline, so maybe it means a little bit more to play again.
Yeah,
Game too.
yeah, absolutely, and it's just another opportunity for us to play together and to really try and show what we can do.
Is the streak of winning bowl games important to you guys to keep going too?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we want to win every game that we play, and so bowl games they're the last game of the season. They're probably what is most remembered about a season, for a team. So to win the bowl game is a huge accomplishment.
Does it make it kind of easier just to focus on taking care of business? That you've been to Boise, you guys, a lot of you have done this before or played there even at Boise State?
Yeah, yeah, we're going to be staying, from what I understand, in the same place that we stayed however many years ago. And it's a really nice hotel. It's a great area. There's a lot of stuff just within walking distance. And Boise puts up, they put on a great bowl game for us. So we're excited, and just looking forward to the challenge.
What memories do you have of the first two visits up there?
The first year I don't really remember. I didn't play, but there's, as far as activities, there's like go-karting, and then we bowl and like compete against the other team in bowling. So it's really fun, and then there's, I think, quite a bit of downtime where we can kind of just relax and do our own thing, which a lot of the players really like.
What's your 6-6 at the end of the season as a team? I know that's not what you wanted.
Right.
Has there been enough satisfaction this year for you guys, or how do you characterize the year? Has this been like, gosh, we let some opportunities out there? How do you feel about the year, Tyler?
Yeah, we certainly have. We've lost a couple close games, that we believe we should have won, but at the end of the day, getting to 5 straight bowl games and hopefully winning 4 straight, there's still something to play for, absolutely, and we're just grateful to the fans that have been really good to us and have been able to send us out kind of on a good note.
What do their running backs look like? You mentioned their quarterbacks and receivers. What are the big two guys between them? 1,300 yards.
Yeah, Yeah, they're really dynamic. The one number 4 is bigger. He's a thick kid. You know, and then for short yardage they have, I think it's 36. He's a monster, and he'll run in to his own player, run over his own players, you know, to get that yard. So I think they do have a lot of size for those short yardage situations, and they do pass well enough to kind of keep you honest. So, you know, with the draws and everything that they do, you know, the running game is absolutely a threat.
Yeah, that's their starting nose tackle.
Yeah.
Goes over and plays fullback on short
That's
yardage.
right. Yeah.
So, I mean, we know a little bit about
Yeah.
doing that stuff too.
He's a monster. So
Is the do they run their regular offense? Is it a lot of one back with the receivers, or do they always have a fullback, or what does it look like with the tendencies there?
yeah, I think they typically have a tight end in with them as well. That, I mean, whether he's attached or detached, you know, split out kind of more like a wide receiver. But they do typically have a tight end, and I think as far as the tendencies, earlier in the you know, first and second down, it's a little bit more run, but they like to take shots. You know, their passes, they're not going to dink and dunk you necessarily, but they hit the play action, and they'll take shots pretty much anywhere from the field, and they have the athletes.
So they want to be, you can tell, a power running team first.
Yeah.
If they can move the ball there, that's what they'll do, type of things. Right.
Right. I think that's how they're built. You know, you look at their O-line; they're a bunch of big, thick, physical guys. So that's how they're built. But then at the same time, you know, they do have the quarterback and the skill at receiver to be able to take those shots.
Yeah, so this last week is it's pretty good actually. We got a chance to kind of rewind and slow everything down and relax for a second, but then towards the end of the week, we started to get back into preparation for Akron. So just kind of starting to see their face, see what they do as a team, as a defense, and kind of get a feel for how they play. We've never played against them, so it's going to be a different type of challenge. But at the same time, I think these guys are ready to take that challenge head on and come out with a win in Boise. And yeah, it's the third time now we've played in this game, and it's been one of my favorite bowls since I've been here. So I'm excited to get back after it again.
Well, the one bowl you played a lot. The way the careers worked out was the one that we first won up there.
Yep, actually the only game I played in, only bowl I played in. So that's I guess that's a nice one too. But yeah, it's we've been there a lot. I think the older guys, so all 8 of us and a couple more who are now juniors, kind of know what to expect out of the entire experience. Kind of know what to expect out of the field, out of the locker room, because we've been around it so much. So I don't know. It's an exciting thing, but at the same time, it's kind of weird to see it as our last year as seniors. So we come in the same way we leave.
So is it a different? Would you say when you played in that one game, was it a different game than other games? Do you think a bowl game, does it feel when it's going? Does it feel different, or does it just feel like another game?
I think it's the only. I mean, as you start going, it kind of turns into the same game. Most games are pretty similar at one point. Just the feeling and the pace and kind of the patterns that the game goes. But just a bowl game is a little bit different because your opponent is generally somebody you're not too familiar with, other than the 1.5 weeks of film and all that. But at the same time, like I said, it's all the game of football is similar every single game you play.
When we talked to you before, we played BYU. You played against kind of the way they play, and you kind of know that. Do you feel like then when you watch a team like this just on film, does it take a while to get on the field, even after watching as much film as you can, to really say, okay, this is what they do or whatever? Does it take a little time?
I mean, I'd say the positive of having this time gap in between the last regular season game and the bowl game is that you can get that familiarity with the other team, because I mean it's only been about a week, and I feel pretty good about it so far. We've watched a ton of tape already, so I mean personally I feel pretty familiar with it. but at the same time, it's going to take a second to reassure yourself whenever you get on the field that they play a certain type of technique or a certain coverage. But for the most part, you just have to trust in what you've been seeing. And I mean, I don't have any doubts about it.
What are your thoughts overall then on their defense and what you're seeing?
So far, their defense looks very athletic. Their D line has a lot of energy. For the most part, they've got some pretty good motors, but at the same time, they show some things that I think we can take advantage of. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like every game this year. It always comes down to what we do, and if we execute on offense. And our big thing is that we need to find a way to run the ball. And I think through the ones that we've had, you've seen that we've been able to move the ball on the ground a tremendous amount, and I think that's something that we need to focus on this week.
Is there some, watching the tape, can you see why they have been the third best rushing defensive team in the nation, how they've done that?
I didn't know that stat, but no, I think a big thing. I mean, it's a combination of things. First of all, the D line is pretty good. Their linebackers fill pretty well. But at the same time, whenever you get teams down, they have to throw the ball as well. So I think it's a two-part to them being so good on against the rush. But at the same time, they are a good defense. I think that they've got some pretty skilled kids up front and on the outside. But like I said, it's all about us, I think, and it's what we have to do to win the game.
Well, because one of their better players is the nose tackle, 36, and we were just talking to Kyler about it. He runs the ball on offense too, and there's short yardage, so he must be. I mean, even though he's 275 pounds, he must be somewhat athletic.
Yeah, he's definitely athletic. He's actually pretty quick for his size, I think. But I mean, I trust in our interior linemen that they're gonna do their job.
Number one is their defensive player of the year in their conference. Do you see him making a lot of plays? Do you see how he does that?
Yeah.
I guess he's a will linebacker. Or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely flies around the ball a whole lot. I think with that defense, they work so well off of each other that it's kind of like an assist. So the D line kind of plugs everybody up, and then he's always free to make a play. But yeah, it's a defense that is still kind of weird just to see because they do a couple of things that are pretty unique. But for the most part, they kind of line up and just try and stay gap sound, try and stay in their zones and coverage, and I think that's how he's been able to make so many plays.
Do you foresee in the game that more than one quarterback can play? Do you feel like going in that you're? I mean, obviously you're not the coach, you're not going to make that decision at all. But if Kent's ready to play or physically ready to play, do you think that both of you could play, or what do you think, Chucky?
It's out of my control. I'm going to do my best to be prepared for this game, and whatever they want to do, it's not really up to me.
We went into I mean, you didn't play last year's bowl game, but we went into last year's bowl game as a team after we got beat pretty good by Boise State in that last game, and I got the feeling all the team and players and all that said, "Hey, come on, give us one more chance, or we want one more. We don't want to leave that." Is there a little bit of the last game, do you think, against BYU that makes it so this kind of situation can happen again this year?
I don't think we've really thought that far back, and that's one of the things that has been a blessing and a curse is that we look back and I mean, at one point we caught ourselves kind of napping around after we had a big win, and it kind of just tapered off and all that. But at the same time, we continue to look back and to learn from what we've been doing. So I'm hoping that we learn instead of look back and just kind of just drown in our sorrows from the BYU game. So I'm looking forward to seeing the attitude that these guys are going to have this upcoming week. I'm going to do my best to continue to be positive and to lead these guys. But this last week, it was pretty refreshing just to see how first of all the intensity and then the energy that they had at practice, and just seeing that they wanted to come and work and to continue to get better. But yeah, hopefully we can just continue to learn and continue to improve throughout the next week and a half. And by the time the game comes, then everything will hopefully be smooth sailing.
What, we haven't asked you about their secondary. What do you see at their secondary or how they play pass defense?
Like I said, they're very athletic. Their corners are pretty aggressive, but I mean at the same time, I think we have some good receivers ourselves, and we've got a lot of guys who can go up and make a play, or they can catch the ball and run through traffic and finish it off. But I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to what we do. As long as we can protect, throw the ball on time, and catch the ball, whether they pick up yards after they catch it, I think we'll continue to see success.
What you got?
Good. Just, is there any gauge you have of your team when they come back to practice for a bowl game? I mean, could you see a hunger, a willingness to go back and do it after their loss against BYU,
Yeah.
to play again, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you see a couple different stages, I think, and what I've kind of seen is we've started our bowl prep practices, which are geared towards younger guys and kind of knocking some of the rust off the vets. And so I think you kind of gradually get the vets back into the flow of practicing and all that. And then, you got a few hard bowl prep practices over the weekend and today and tomorrow. And then you get into game week. And we're now getting into a lot more game plan specific stuff and a little bit less developmental. So I think you see some of the eagerness and enthusiasm change because it's getting, a lot closer to game time and game week prep. And, Wednesday we'll start a Monday for us in that prep. And so we'll go into that same practice mode. So when you put a helmet on and jerseys, and it's a really short practice, you get back into that mode. So I think you see that over time. The young guys are always excited to go, and we get a lot of live work and some stuff done with them. And so they're very eager to get out there, and it's kind of like a second spring ball for us. Not as many practices, not as many bowl prep practices this year as compared to the last couple years just because of the date of the game and the timing of when we came out of recruiting and all that. So, but it's still very important for our program to get those extra reps, the extra days, like another spring practice. I think that's
So you're
always
still
important.
kind of in that mold a little bit right now until maybe Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's still some of that. When you started Thursday, it's kind of some of those extra
Right.
practices for the young guys. It's
Yep.
a big, major part of things.
That's
And-
exactly right. Yeah, where we do specific work towards Akron veterans, good on good. We do a lot of good on good and preparation for the bowl as well against scout team looks, and then we get a lot of young guy stuff and get some live work in for the young guys.
So you've been to Boise before. You weren't the head coach the previous two times, but obviously there's a familiarity there that should make things easy.
Yeah.
It's not far.
It's very familiar, getting on the bus and going to Boise and staying at the Grove. And so I think we're very familiar with those surroundings, practicing in the indoor. But I think there's only 9 guys on the team and a handful of coaches that were here in 2012. So it'll be new for most of the team. But for a few of us that have been here for a while, there is some familiarity, and I think that's good. We'll stay consistent and to the same type of itinerary and those kind of things that we did in Boise in 2012.
You were helping call the plays and all of that when we had our explosion in the fourth quarter, the year that we won the first bowl game there, and Chucky was the quarterback. And
Yep.
This is his first real opportunity maybe to go back and quarterback a bowl game because of the injuries and things like that too from them.
Yeah, that was it's one of the best fourth quarters around here at Utah State, and that was neat to be a part of. And that was you talk about that game, that was a tight-knit game between us and Toledo till a few minutes to go in the third quarter, and then we started, our O-line and our tight ends took over, and Kerwin Williams had a great fourth quarter. Actually had a fumble to start off and then bounced back and made some great runs. But we really dominated inside and played well, to finish that game. That's a great memory. It's a great memory for me, personally as an alumni and winning that bowl game. But that's for those guys on that team, and the way we finished that season was special.
Can we ask you about the quarterback position?
Yep.
I mean, Kent was out, it looked like physically, maybe couldn't play. You said it wasn't season ending.
Yep.
Is he available? What do you anticipate at that spot?
Yep, they're both very healthy. They've both been practicing very well, and I think there's a pretty good chance you're going to see both of them. They're both going to have a role, and you got two good quarterbacks, and they're both healthy, and this is kind of where we're at in the season. So they'll both have the role, so they'll have to prepare for both of them.
So as far as Akron, have you ever crossed paths with Coach Bowden before?
I haven't. No, you look at these guys, and I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is you got 5 senior O linemen that are very, very experienced, and I think that probably had a hand in them going 4-0 down the stretch. You look at their defense; the front 7 is very, very strong. 3 of the 7, are 4-year transfers. 2 of them being from Ohio State, 1 from Iowa State, and those guys are very, very, very good players. And of course, you got the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, so that front 7's really, really strong. I think you see tough guys in a tough program, I would assume, and they've done a very nice job there. And they're hot right now. They played well down the stretch.
Steve Bloom couldn't be here, but he sends in a question from Salt Lake City. He wants to know, how would you sum up Nick Vigil's season and what makes him such an effective player?
Well, I think Nick's had a very, very good year, and he's an extremely valuable member of this program. I mean, what he does on defense, but even offense, when he plays some on offense and special teams, his talent. I mean, he's got a lot of God-given talent, but he also has developed that talent, and he's very coachable. Tremendous kid off the field, very good student. And you don't have any issues with Nick Vigil outside this building, and everything that he's about, football junkie, character, high class, extremely high level of work ethic. You add that to a bunch of God-given talent, and you got a special player, and he's had a very good year, and he means a lot to this program.
What was it you said, Doug? He's the only player in the country who's had at least 9 tackles in every single game this year. The only guy in the country. That's pretty unique. Pretty special.
Kudos to our sports information department staff for that nugget, that little pearl of wisdom.
But in Brown, their guy who's there, do you see? I mean, he doesn't maybe play exactly the same spot. He plays maybe a little more, but you see a guy like Nick Vigil?
I see a guy that I think they're very similar players in the fact that they both run to the football at extremely high effort, with a high effort. They're fast. They play under blocks. They play over blocks. He's similar to Nick in that regard, but a very, very active player and a very good open field tackler.
I asked Chucky, when you watch the film, can you see how they are the 3rd best rushing defensive team in the country?
Yeah.
They play.
Yeah, they're very. They got a strong D line and those got ends that are up the field and aggressive, and very good backers that tackle well in space. So right then and there, you can see why they've done a nice job stopping the run.
Then how do you characterize their offense? We were talking to Kyler about it. I mean, they say it's a spread. The quarterback runs a lot.
Yeah.
And stuff too.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, they got I think a strong running attack. I think it's spread, but it's a little bit more power based when you have that kind of a back, and he is a strong downhill runner. And of course, you just mentioned the quarterback running, so that's absolutely a threat. And then you got 5 senior O linemen that that they rely on, and I think they protect the kid well. He's made good decisions. He's been stingy with the football, and so I think they've been very effective. And then they've been opportunistic and gotten the touchdowns when they had the opportunities and gotten leads. And then, teams have not been able to move the ball on them, down the stretch. So.
Well, this Lane averages 21.4 a catch, the one receiver, number 7, big guy.
Yeah, big guy. Couple big guys out there on the perimeter.
Have they been able to break just big play action plays, or they just are making great athletic plays? What's going on?
Yeah, they're good guys out on the perimeter, and they've done a nice job of getting them in the right matchup schematically, and you see some coverage shots where they gotten teams maybe locked into a certain coverage and they've hit it, and to me it's a really good job of coaching and scheming on offense. But credit to those kids. Those kids went out and made plays, and both of those guys have been very productive out on the edge. They're good players. Guys good? All right. Have a good day. You're welcome.
Move on.
See Turbin yesterday?
Blasted one up the middle. He had a 22-yard run right before that, and then a 7-yard run.